There is a lot of misinformation surrounding the tragic death of Stuart Lubbock at the home of Michael Barrymore in 2001. The police and the press at the time created a false narrative that to this day has never been fully broken down and examined. Stuart Lubbock had an extremely dangerous cocktail of drugs in his system following a night out at a nightclub in Essex. Stuart, along with several others, went back to the home of Mr. Barrymore to continue drinking and partying. Everyone at the home of Michael Barrymore was having a good time. Many wanted to swim in the pool, and Michael supplied swimming trunks so they could do so. Stuart was seen by several witnesses at the party, dive bombing in and out of the pool. These witness statements have always been ignored by press and documentary makers as they go against the narrative they created. When Stuart's lifeless body was found in the pool, he was pulled out and resuscitation was attempted. The act of carrying the overweight body of Stuart caused slight scratching. 999 was immediately called. Michael waited for the police at the house next door where his friend lived. The tabloid press used this moment to present it as fleeing the scene or running away, when in reality, Mr. Barrymore simply waited at his neighbor's quiet home so he could be interviewed by the police there away from the press that quickly descended on his own house. Photographs of Stuart's body were taken at this time, including his rectal area. Over a dozen witnesses saw no harm to the body. All of their statements are available to documentary researchers, but have never been requested or used. Nurse Nagel inserted the thermometer into Stuart's anus over 12 times to get a reading and saw no injuries. Stuart's body was then taken to a chapel and then the mortuary. Polaroids by the Essex police were taken at this time in 2017. When Mr. Barrymore's lawyers asked for these Polaroids, they were told they are missing. Dr. Stuart John Hamilton examined the body and disagrees with what the Essex police are saying. His opinion has never been presented in any documentary. Stuart's body was left for over 8 hours in the chapel in Essex, then the mortuary. At least 2 people were seen going in and out of the mortuary at this time. To this day, the police have refused to reveal their identities. At 4:30 p.m., anal injuries were then discovered, and the Essex police started their investigation under immense tabloid pressure. As the tabloid pressure grew, the Essex police then created a narrative that Stuart was sexually assaulted and murdered at the home of Michael Barrymore. The Essex police used a specific pathologist they use for reference to say things like fisting was a possibility, so that the tabloids could publish shocking front pages. Information is now slowly coming out that will eventually uncover the truth about what happened to Stuart Lubbock. For example, on Twitter, just a few weeks ago a gentleman spoke out and said, "Now, my mum was a paramedic in Essex, retired, and she had been in hospital when they brought Stuart in, and had helped the changeover. And once everything started coming out, my mum said, there was nothing wrong with that boy's anus when he came in. She was there. 100,000,000% my mum isn't wrong, and doesn't lie. She has no need to. As if there was, she would have said. She was not worried about anything. She has 5 hardened, fighting sons. We were never spoken to by the police, nor was she. Also, the taxi driver who took you back to Roydon, he was a lying piece of shit. He would courier drugs for friends, and he was always lying. So when he said on that documentary, he was lying. What makes this all the more sinister is that in 2006, it was also revealed that Kylie Merritt had lied about seeing Michael Barrymore give Stuart drugs at the party. She was paid by the News of the World up to £10,000 to say this. Other witnesses were paid to say specific things, or to say nothing at all. However, in the recent Channel 5 documentary, they went to the extreme of acting out Michael giving drugs to Stuart so the media's false narrative can continue to be told. The Channel 5 documentary also presented an ex-worker of the Essex Police as the voice of the Essex Police today. Today, Paul Mallory is a podcast and YouTube enthusiast whose opinion is unreliable and biased. He in fact retired from the Essex Police 2016 and has left the current police force to cover up the mess him and his team created in 2001. It is also now known that a lot of what the Essex Police and their pathologist said is highly exaggerated. The injuries to Stuart Lubbock are in fact seen as red herring by other professionals, and not as serious as some may believe. Channel 4's The Body in the Pool documentary in 2018 revealed that News of the World editor, Paul McCullen, posed as a policeman to gain access to the Lubbock family home, but went no further into his own involvement in how Stuart obtained his injuries. Michael Barrymore has always fully cooperated with the Essex police in their multiple investigations, and has called for an inquest into their actions. The Crown Prosecution Service in the UK have rejected their theory on 3 separate occasions. An independent inquest into the police's investigation of the tragic death of Stuart Lubbock may finally help the Lubbock family some peace and justice.